Episode 16, Difficult People and Communication Breakdown. Hi, we all have encountered difficult situations where communication is less than effective. Either the people you are dealing with are difficult people, or there was a miscommunication somewhere, or a mistake of your part or the other one part, but somehow there is a conflict. How do you deal with effective communication to try to minimize the impact of the problem? You also see that some people seemingly glide through issues and problems, and they never have a real issue. They always seem to manage communication trouble or breakdown and get it fixed very quickly and easily. And they seem unaffected and are always very happy. On the other hand, other people seem to be putting fires after fires all the time. They are always on damage control mode and it's a nightmare. So how can you be that guy who goes and glides through issues and trouble, always happy, never an issue, always fixed, happy life, happy guy? How can you be that guy? Guys, my name is Konig and I have started this channel wanting to share with you what I've learned during my career in branding, advertising and graphic design, what I call brand communication. So we are going to explore in this episode what is most likely to cause issues and communication breakdowns. We will show you how to maximize your chances to live a life with minimal communication trouble. So it's not a mystery or a big revelation that communication is the key to a happy relationship, whether it's a personal, family relationship or a loving relationship or business relationship. They are all relationships. Communication always plays a key. And of course, I'm talking about effective, successful communication. Any dysfunctional communication is obviously the source of a lot of unhappiness and friction, tension and conflict. We don't want that. So learn how to communicate better and you will definitely have a lot more successful life, happier life, stress-free, well, a lot less stress anyway, and you'll be a lot happier too. The rules of proper communication are the same whether we are talking about your family or intimate relationships or business relationships. Obviously, in this episode, we are going to discuss the business relationships and communication, effective communication with your associates, your clients, your partners, your staff. I personally call all the people I work with, whether they are suppliers or clients or staff or whatever, I call them my people because I really have to care and I want to care and I do care about my people. Their fate is my fate. We are all bound together, we are working together. Their happiness is my happiness is their happiness. That's why proper communication keeps both parties happy. Often, if you cannot communicate an idea clearly, it's most likely because it's not 100% clear in your mind either. So know your stuff, know what you are talking about, and most likely you'll be able to express yourself a lot clearly, and people can understand you. Also, another important key to effective communication, I feel, is to not have the same message, the same way to communicate with everyone. Everybody is different. You have to adapt the way you communicate and the way you speak and the way you express an idea with whoever you are dealing with. Some people get it straight away and it's quick and you get it and it's done. But some others, they need a bit more TLC, a tender loving care, and you need to go and make sure that they get what you are really trying to explain or tell them. And it's not always a given. So make sure that the way you explain yourself is understood. So you cannot talk to everybody the same way. You've got to adapt and transform your message according to the listener. The way you express your message is the key to your listener's mind, the key to effective communication. It is generally admitted that effective communication saves time, money and effort. It is therefore an imperative to you that you learn how to communicate effectively to save time, money and effort and stress, and you'll be a lot happier. Communication is also the glue that binds people together and foster cares in people and in yourself, in your relationships. To put simply, a bad communicator might as well be speaking Chinese to his staff or clients because he won't be understood unless he makes an effort to communicate better. And often you see those people, poor communication skills make their goals and what they want to express so opaque to others that everybody gets frustrated. And that frustration, often on the part of the bad communicator, blames the other parties for not getting what they are trying to say. And it's so simple, you should get it. Why don't you get it? We see that all the time. Bad communicators always blame the other party. So don't be that guy. So if you really don't want to be a bad communicator, press the subscribe button right now. Press the bell as well, and you'll be notified in new content and everything. If you press the like button, then that will tell YouTube that you do like the content, or someone likes the content, and it will propel me further up into the ranking of the search engine and help my people finding my videos. So thank you. So you see, disputes and conflicts and difficulties and communication breakdowns are inevitable. Well, nobody's perfect. But you can certainly learn to minimize with few simple steps and minimize the possibility of communication breakdown. And the first thing I do when there is a conflict or an issue of some sort is to not argue, to not blame, to find a blame somewhere or whatever. All I want to focus on and all I ask my people to focus on is the resolution. Get it sorted as quick as possible. We'll deal with the finger pointing and the blame later. It's not important right now and nobody cares. It's not going to help anyone. So get the issue sorted first and forget the blame game. And when in a time of crisis, of course, it's time to keep your head very cool, especially if somebody's already all panicky and stressing. Keep your head cool. You need to be the rock. You need to be the guy who will find a solution and get yourselves out of this mess. So keep cool, unemotional, process-driven, solution-driven, get things sorted. So of course, fixing issues is one thing, but the best would be to never have any issues. So how do you do that? How can you be that guy that glides through life seemingly without any problem? So one thing that can come to mind first to minimize issues of communication is to not be dealing with bad people or bad communicators or trouble people. So it's easy to understand that bad people are difficult to deal with and no much fun, and a lot of effort, a lot of stress, and a lot of time and money wasted. On the other hand, the good people are great to deal with, and work seems to be so much quicker and happier and more effective. So why would you accept bad people in your life? Why would you do business with bad people? Well, you know, often people feel, and it's very revealing, that they have no choice. They feel that they have to deal with bad people because they don't have the luxury of choice and they just take any business that comes to them. So I will argue, no, this is wrong. This is a reflection of insecurity, your own insecurities. There's plenty of good people out there. So just focus on the good ones. Don't focus on the bad one. Keep searching for the good clients. You will work with them a lot longer and be a lot happier than working with bad people, having bad relationships. And of course, I understand that it's very difficult to say no to business, and maybe some bad clients are particularly very good money, and it's very hard to say no to that. But you know, it's a lifestyle choice as well. You got to choose what you want for your life. You have to choose what you want in your life. Is it really worth it? Might mean that you work for less money, earn a bit less money, but happiness, your happiness, is priceless. So for my business and in my life, I very rarely engage with unknown entities and unknown people. Most of my clients come from referrals. So when a new client comes to me and says such and such recommended you to me, that's why I'm calling you, I know that I can trust that new person, which I've never met before, simply because I trust the person that referred them to me. So sometimes I am approached by people that I don't know anything of, and I have no way to find out if they are good people or bad people and easy to deal with or not. So I do my homework on them, and I ask a lot of questions to see what kind of person they are. And after 35 years in a business, I can pretty quickly sort out and see which one is good and which one is bad. Of course, I do, unfortunately, get some bad surprises from time to time. It does happen, but it's very, very rare. So dealing with reasonable people obviously has a great advantage when there is issues and disputes or something that went wrong, because we all know that we are reasonable, we all know and trust each other. And of course, with trust, every issue is easily sorted and both parties win and save time and money again. But on the other hand, when you are dealing with a bad person, you go straight away to the finger pointing and the blame game, and there is a lot of aggressivity, there is a lot of stress, and the issue is taking a back seat then, and you see that everything takes a lot more time to get sorted, and it should not be that way. The issue should be sorted very quickly, and finger pointing is not helping anyone. So I always say, with reason and reasonable people and logic, minimum of logic, everything can be sorted very easily. But that's an ideal world, and that's if you screen your people. But if you do not screen your people well and you end up with somebody that becomes unreasonable, using bullying techniques and being aggressive to you, well, then you have to fight fire with fire, I'm afraid, and you have to stand up for yourself and use force of some sort. Of course, I'm not talking about physical force. I'm talking about a forceful argument, and be as forceful, but fair and professional always. As forceful as the person is addressing you, as much force as they are addressing you with. So fighting fire with fire. And sometimes it's not enough either. Obviously, you want to avoid being in that situation in the first place. But if that's happened, fight fire with fire, always being respectful and professional. But if it doesn't work and if it's not enough, then sometimes you just have to accept defeat and lick your wounds, pick yourself up, and start another day. You just cannot win them all. You cannot win all the time. Sometimes you got to accept losses. Cheap people are the one often that are the most demanding on your time and efforts. That's why I avoid to deal with cheap people. And when I am talking about cheap people, I'm not talking about people with tiny budgets. There is plenty of people with tiny budgets that I'm very happy to help as long as they are genuine and good. The cheap people I'm talking about here are the ones with a lot of money, but they don't want you to have any, and they want you to work day and night for zero money. Those cheap people are trouble, and you're not going anywhere. And because they don't want to pay you for your worth and your work, they will be fighting you every inch of the way. There will be argument, there will be fights, there will be bad communication happening all the time, finger pointing, bullying techniques. So, don't. That's where you have to screen your people. You have also to put processes in place to make sure that you dot your I's and cross your T's. Because if your processes and the way you work is watertight, it will obviously minimize issues, the chance of issues occurring. So do not be scared to ask a lot of questions. You'll be surprised. I am still surprised how many times I think I've cornered every corner of the issue, and as I found out that I was still assuming something, and I was wrong. Never assume. Always, even if you are certain about something, always get an answer from your client. Always ask a question, double check, triple check, everything. The Japanese call that zero defect. You can ask 10 times, and often you can ask a question one way and get one answer. And you ask the same question with a different wording or a different way, with a different angle, and you expect the same answer, and you'll be surprised how often you have a different answer, because everybody thinks differently. So really don't be shy, and I often apologize to my people for being so pedantic and asking seemingly stupid questions, because you do have to ask a lot of questions to corner every possible failure here and there. So when you have asked everything, and you are sure that everything is watertight, you are greatly more likely to succeed and not have any issue whatever, and your communication is watertight and safe. Also respect. Gain respect from your people and give respect to everyone. Well, that doesn't seem like a mystery. This is just a recipe for being a decent human being, really. Everybody should be respectful and be respected. It's not a rocket science, right? Well, it's something you got to make an extra point of doing, is showing respect all the time. And it shows as well a lot of respect when you just listen to people. And it's not easy, especially a guy like me. I always want to jump to the end of the conversation because I know what they're going to say, blah, blah, blah. So stop, pause, listen. And when I say listen, it's not just stop talking. It's really, really trying to understand what the person is trying to tell you. And that happens only when you walk in their shoes, when you are really trying to put yourself in their shoes, at their place, in their place, and trying to understand exactly what they are trying to say. And when I say to listen to what your people are saying, you also have to make sure that your people are listening to you and understanding you and what you are trying to say. So again, ask questions over and over to make sure you have cornered every possible angle of what we are discussing, to make sure that we are all on the same page and we all understand each other perfectly. Keep it fun as well, you know. In work, in business, you often find yourself in big projects, scary projects with a very short timeline and big risk attached to it. So if you are fun, if you seemingly walk through stressful issues unaffected, people will tend to trust you more. But if you run around like a headless chook and stressing everywhere about every single thing, people are not going to trust you and entrust you with the task and the job they are giving you. So keep it fun, keep cool. You can freak out when you are back in your office and say, oh my God, what have I put myself into? You can do that in private, but in front of your people, you keep your cool, you keep it fun, and your people will respect you and think you are super tough and super brave. But they will also be very grateful that you are taking a massive load off them, and they don't need to stress about it because you are seemingly taking care of the task, and it's a breeze to you. It seems to be easy, and you can take care of it confidently. So keep it fun and relaxed. People will love it. Admit that you might be wrong, even when you know that you are right. Because again, when there is an issue arising, like I said, often there is emotions rising up and stress, and people are starting to finger point and blame game and everything. So do not go down that rabbit hole. It's horrible. Just say, yes, okay, that's fine. We'll deal with it. Don't worry about it. That's fine. Accept whatever is given to you, but recenter the focus on the issue to be addressed and sorted as quickly as possible and as successfully as possible first. And when it's all done and finished with, you'll be amazed to see that when the stress and the emotions are all removed out of the equation, people are a lot less caring about finger pointing and blame, because all they wanted in the first place anyway is the job to be done, and now it is done. So there is nothing to argue anymore about. So when emotions rise very high, keep your head cool and get the job done. If I do get myself emotional and angry about something, I make sure that I retreat and I do not communicate with my client or anyone at that particular moment, because I am emotional and angry and whatever. You make sure you keep your cool, you cool off, and when you are cool, again, cool-headed, then you come back to the party and discuss it and sort it and blah, blah, blah. But never discuss anything when you are emotional, because it's something that you will regret. It will never be as good and as effective communication as if you were not emotional. So keep the emotion out of issues at all time. Empathy is a key to great communication. You have to care about your people. If you care, you listen a lot more to people. If you care to people, they care about you back. If you care, you show respect. People see that and they respect you back. Caring, empathy is like a key again to open the doors in communication. And people are not resisting you because you care and you are genuine. Do not be a number. This is more like for the millennials and the snowflakes. Nowadays, people tend to hide and do all their communication behind an SMS or an email. Don't do that, especially for when an issue or a conflict has arisen. That would be a very bad move for communication, for effective communication. So for everyday communication, emails are great, SMS fantastic, everything is great. But when there is an issue, please pick up the phone, talk to the person, or even better, be face-to-face. Go and see the person and talk and resolve it face-to-face. We all know how communication or a message can be misconstrued and misunderstood while it's on an email or an SMS. It's very easy to be misunderstood, so don't add to already a bad situation by communicating poorly via email or SMS. Just pick up the phone, talk to the person. And also talking to the person, being a voice, or face-to-face, being a face, and no longer a faceless person hiding behind an SMS or an email, will command more respect. It's easy to dismiss and disrespect and be rude to an SMS or an email. It's a lot harder when you have a real person you are dealing with, when it's a voice on a phone or when it's a person in front of you. People tend to not want to hurt real people, but when you are hiding behind an SMS and an email, you are not a real person anymore. You are this SMS and this email, and you are very easily discarded and pushed aside. You don't want that, especially when communication is very important when there is a conflict. Okay. So again, SMS, email, fantastic for most, 90% of communication, but when there is an issue, make sure that you are fully understood by talking to the person face to face. It will also show and command respect because you are brave enough to face that person face to face. And by commanding respect, you will go a lot further into the resolution of the argument or the issue. So do not be a faceless number hiding behind an email or an SMS. You will be paying a far too great price for it. Be genuine. Okay, perfection doesn't exist. Everybody makes mistakes. Of course, we want to minimize them, but you are bound to make a mistake here and then. So the best is to, especially when there is a emotion rising up and finger pointing and blame going around, the best is to own up to it. If you have done something wrong, straight away, own up to it and accept your faults. That will not show that being wrong and admitting that you are wrong will not show weakness. It shows strength, on the contrary. Admitting that you are vulnerable and you are wrong is great strength, and it will instill respect with the other party. And it will also help the debate, any issue to be resolved a lot quicker if you admit that there is an issue and you want to address it straight away. So admit if you are doing something wrong and get the issue sorted very quickly. By being genuine, people will respect you more, and if you have people's trust, communication will be a lot more effective and quick. So really it's a win-win all around. There is no argument. So you see, in conclusion, follow those simple common sense arguments, and your communication will be a lot more streamlined, effective, and will make your life a lot happier and stress-free. So why will not you follow those? Paraphrasing Lanny Bassham, there are plenty of fine books written on the subject of effective communication. Psychologists, motivational speakers, and religious leaders write these books. A seasoned down the trenches professional wrote these lines. I did my apprenticeship in a real-life arena, fending for myself in my chosen trade and loving it. My credibility is not based on the courses I took in college or the diplomas on my walls. It is in my successful professional relationships with all of my people that keep wanting to work with me after 10, 15 years. It is not theory, it is simply what works. That's it for today. Thank you very much. Bye.
Okay, medical history. Have you ever been diagnosed with diabetes?
No.
Kidney disease?
No.
Migraines?
Getting one.
Are you currently pregnant?
No.
Are you sure? You look a bit puffy.
Change migraine to yes.